Hello and welcome back for another new episode of Let's Talk. This will be our final show of the fall before we take a break heading into Thanksgiving. But don't worry, this will be a beefy show when it comes to content. So thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Chad Landis. Now we've got some great guests lined up for today, some great conversations. But before we get to that, here's what's on my mind. Now we actually don't have enough time in today's show for me to go off on Penn State football. So you get a reprieve, Nittany Lions, from my wrath. And really, I've got some other great topics to discuss, so let's get to those. How about some former LL League athletes who recently made their college debuts? All-time leading scorer for Manheim Central basketball, Taylor Funk, is playing a ton of minutes for St. Joe's basketball, and he's still scoring from behind the three-point arc. He dropped 16 points in his first ever college game, and just the other day poured in 22 points in a win over Illinois Chicago, including a game-tying three-pointer that sent the game into overtime. Very impressive and not that surprising, to be honest. In college wrestling, former Warwick Warrior Devin Schnupp getting the start on the defending national champions Penn State squad. Yeah, Devin is their new 125-pounder. Couple of matches under his belt. Didn't come out on the winning side, but honestly, the little fella who wrestled at 106 and 113 in high school in the freaking Nittany Lion lineup at 125, you are a winner in my book, so way to go, Devin. Love it. We always need more Schnuppy here on BRC 11. Well, let's get on with the show. Lots of great conversations on deck. And coming up next, one of the best quarterbacks to ever put on a Garden Spot uniform. It's Cameron Roth, and he is in studio with me. So stay tuned. That's next on Let's Talk.
Fake. Roth is going to keep it, and he's going to go for the touchdown.
Rolling into the jungle. Ain't no God on my streets, in the heart of the jungle. Follow me into the jungle. Ain't no God on these streets.
That's the way. And there you have it, just some highlights from our next guest here on Let's Talk. It is Garden Spot senior quarterback Cameron Roth. Thank you so much for making a little bit of time to come on in here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. We are very excited to have you in studio. After the season ended, fantastic performance out there on the field out of you for your senior year. Obviously, the record didn't go quite as you guys would have liked, but we still wanted to have you in and talk to you kind of about how the season went. You guys, we're hoping for a big season for you in your senior year, and certainly had the weapons to do it. Didn't quite accomplish that. What were the emotions and the feelings like, as you were succeeding so well as far as, throwing touchdowns and playing well, but the team just quite couldn't get that record figured out?
Yeah, every week we'd go in with high spirits. We knew we could compete with anyone, but a lot of first-year guys out on the team, first-year seniors coming out, just not having that varsity experience. But, stats are one thing, we're going for wins. But, I think at the end of the day, what it really meant this year was the relationships I built with some guys on the team.
Well, yeah, and you've been there 3 years, so you've had time to kind of build that with everybody, depending on what their grade is. Obviously, we have to talk about the stats because they were just so freaking amazing this year. You threw for, almost 2,500 yards in one season, and then ran for over 1,000, which puts you in pretty good company as a quarterback. Had 35 total touchdowns. How were you able to kind of dominate the LL League, and how did that feel in your senior year?
Yeah, like you said, 3 years of experience really helps. The game really slows down. Having a great O-line definitely helps out, gives me a little bit of time. Receivers getting open and just a great coaching staff behind me. And just going out there having fun every Friday night. If you're not having fun, then I don't really know why you're playing then, so. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Obviously, you guys tried to have as much fun as you could. What was it, second year for Coach Fulmer, right?
Yeah.
And he seems like a pretty fun guy to play for. How did he kind of keep your guys' spirits up, even though, unfortunately, there was some losses piling up there?
Yeah, just staying positive every week. Him always telling us that we can compete with anyone, and he fully believes that we can beat anyone. And we bought into that, but, things didn't go the way they went, but we just had to keep fighting.
Yeah.
So.
Now, we did talk about your individual stats for the season, but we have to kind of talk about your career stats too. 3 years as a starting quarterback. You threw for over 5,000 yards. You rushed for over 2,000. And as you know, that puts you up there in pretty rarefied air as far as we've been able to, and some of the other media people. Only 2 other quarterbacks really in the LL have been able to do that. One of your former teammates, I guess, Mitch Martin, right?
Yep.
You were there for your freshman year, and then Lebanon's Mark Piles. Talk about how that makes you feel, how you were able to accomplish that, what that means to you.
I mean, yeah, it's awesome, you know, being in a good company like that. I remember Mitch on the team when I was a freshman, how great of a quarterback he was. You know, good to be learning from a guy like him. And yeah, just coaches throughout my career that have gotten me to where I am. Guys like Shane Martin, who was a coach, Jim Contafio also helped me out as well.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just those guys helping me out really helped.
Do you feel like you learned a little bit from Mitch? Maybe either what he said to you or being able to watch him that has really paid off in these 3 years?
I say being able to watch him a little bit, being able to make plays when play breaks down.
Yeah.
You know, I watched that a little bit and just being quick with the ball.
You had to play for 2 coaches, right? If I'm not mistaken. How was the transition with that? Did that hurt a little bit in your progression? How do you feel like that kind of went?
Didn't hurt too much because Fulmer's offense was very similar to what we ran my sophomore year.
With Coach Z, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah, with Coach Zambarini. But then my senior year, I felt I was really able to succeed because you know, second year with a second offense, so knew everything going into the year.
Yeah, I know. That's going through all those different offenses. I'm sure you would have just loved to have probably one for all 3. And then,
Yeah.
But still, we're able to put up some pretty good numbers there
Yep.
in that senior year. I guess my question is, were you always a quarterback growing up? What was the deal?
I was not, you know. I grew up always playing running back
Okay.
and also defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I played growing up through midgets. And then they came up to me my 8th grade year and said, hey, we want to pull you up next year and try and make you a quarterback. And I was, oh, okay. Because I could always throw it pretty deep, but
Okay.
so
you're a quick learner then.
I guess, yeah.
So
yeah.
that 9th grade year was when you learned the ins and the outs of quarterback.
Yeah.
Mitch was there, and then the 3 years starting at sophomore, junior, and senior.
Yeah.
Wow. So obviously now we know why you were able to run. Did you, in your time as a quarterback, have a favorite receiver to throw to? Was there somebody that was just like really reliable?
I would say 2 guys. Mac Folk,
I thought
obviously,
that would be on there, yeah.
and then one of my close friends, George Shearbridge,
Okay.
who's on the team this year. So.
Who's faster?
Oh, Mac.
Matt, gosh,
Yeah.
he was so fast, and he was so electric.
Yep.
Did you guys ever wind up racing in a race? Is he faster than you?
He's faster than me.
Okay.
Mac is faster, yeah.
You can't win them all, I
No,
guess, right?
no.
Does Garden Spot have a plan for quarterback after you?
It will probably be, we had a freshman on this team this year, Jesse Martin. Right now looking like he'll be the guy
So
next
it's
year.
the old you.
Yeah.
You know, you watched as a freshman and then the 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. They like to do that over there.
Yeah.
Long starters.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans for college? Or do you plan to keep going on, or are you done?
I plan to play. The 2 schools I'm really looking at right now.
down to Susquehanna at the border.
Yeah, I'm Pittsburgh.
It's a cool
Yeah, I really like it.
when you look back at your career with Garden Spot, so the 3 years, you were playing, what's one thing you'll remember, or maybe something that you'll cherish as a Garden Spot Spartan?
Say the relationship. Really close. I think that's what football is. You know, it's like life. You can prepare as much as you want, but you know, you're not always gonna get what you want. So I think having those relationships really help keep my spirits high. So just grateful for the guys that I was able to build those relationships with.
And really enjoyed your time as a Spartan?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
It was all you could make it?
Yeah.
Good, good. Well, again, I really appreciate you coming in. That's all the tough questions I have for you. I'd love to have more, but just really wanted to focus on what a fantastic season it was for you as far as, you know, just your abilities and then also your career. So congratulations to you, and we certainly wish you the best of luck here as you make that choice for college.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good luck with that. We do have to take another break here. We'll step aside, but when we come back, more football conversation here on Let's Talk, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Let's Talk. We are joined now by the head coach of Ephrata football, Chris Miller. We've gone around the coaching carousel. It has stopped at the purple and gold, so thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me
on the show. Obviously, it's in the off season, but we just felt it was a good time to come over and kind of see where the program is at. So my first question is somewhat of a tough one, but it's no secret you guys are at the 51-game losing streak, and everyone's looking ahead to next year to see when that will be snapped. My question to you is, what do you say to the kids after the season ends? They know that exists. They know it's going to be hanging over their heads. What was the message to them after the season was over?
I'll be meeting with the team this week, and we'll kind of talk about last year a little bit, and then start focusing on next year. And our big thing is, we can't look ahead and figure out who we playing, what's the schedule look like. We got to take care of business from now until August. There's so many games that are won in the fall based on the work you put in the offseason. So our number one focus, is get our numbers up in the weight room, improve the competitiveness and improve the effort and the attitude that we have in the weight room, so we can kind of carry that over to next season when we get there.
Now you're going into, that'll be your third season that we're heading into. After 2 seasons, was it harder than you thought to kind of get your hands on this program and get it in the right direction? What's the feeling on all of that?
There was a lot of stuff that I knew coming into the program, and like any new situation, there's some stuff that you don't learn until you're in there and see what's going on. So our focus every year has been so far, okay, what can we get better at, and what can we improve on, and where are our weaknesses, and let's focus on those. So after the E-Town game this week, this year, the coaching staff came in the next Saturday at 8 a.m. and we started hammering out the plan. Okay, here's the things that we think we can build on, and here's the areas that we need to make sure that we address here from now until August to make sure we take care of that. And obviously one of those is the weight room.
Yeah, I know. Coaches always talk about trying to get those kids out there and get them bigger, another year stronger. When you look at the team, are they heading in the right direction? Is there hope coming up? I know we talked a little bit and we showed some video of kind of the junior high team, and it looked like the community was rallying around those guys. It's always nice to see that. Is there hope coming up in this program?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're better off now than we were 3 years ago. The scores don't reflect it, but I think when you look behind the scenes of the stuff we're doing, I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. The midget program has done a great job of building numbers. I think 3 or 4 years ago there were 73 kids in the midget program, and this past year we just finished up with 160. So the numbers are coming up from the midget program, and then obviously our junior high program had a phenomenal job. I think they have 23 freshmen that hopefully will come up to the high school level next year and competing for spots. So it's coming. The numbers are coming, and kids that are experienced playing football, which will certainly help what we are able to do on Friday nights.
Yeah, and hopefully the wins are coming as well. We will talk about that next year, but we are hoping for some good news in that department. As far as this year, talk about the kids and how they were able to kind of handle that adversity of knowing there's a losing streak, fighting to try and snap it, but couldn't quite do it. And it feels like, did they keep a positive attitude during it?
Yeah, obviously this year we had some ups and downs. We started out, we played pretty well against CV and stopped the run, and then week 2 against Lebanon was a game that I've been replaying multiple times throughout the season. What could we have done a little bit different? And then throughout the rest of the season, we played some good football at times, and our biggest thing is we didn't play consistently. We would play a quarter, we would play a series, we would play, I think it was 7-0 against Cedar Crest at one point, and they finished third in the section. So there was times when we played good football. We just got to get that consistency to where it needs to be. The kids had a good attitude, and obviously there were some struggles throughout when the results were what they were, and there was stuff that we had to battle through. And we talk about the life lessons that you can learn from being part of football, and hoping big picture for the kids that are obviously graduating, and for the underclassmen. Okay, here's where we're at right now, and let's close the gap even more to get us to a situation where we're pretty competitive next year.
Are you happy with the decision that you guys are headed down to Section 3? Do you feel like that gives you guys more of a chance on some equal footing with some other teams? What's the feeling from your staff about that move?
It doesn't matter where we're from, and obviously playing Section 3 is going to give us a different set of teams and some different circumstances, but at the end of the day, if we don't take care of our business and do what we have to do from now until August, it doesn't matter if we're in Section 1, 2, or 3. We have to focus on taking care of our business and doing things the right way and building as a team. So when we come out, week 1, that we're ready to go, and then see what Section 3 happens after that.
Okay, well, we're obviously wishing you the best of luck with all of that. I think everybody's really kind of excited for this move down to Section 3, maybe some more even footing with the teams that'll be there, but we'll have to wait and see. We've got a whole off season, and you've got a lot of stuff that you have to do to kind of get everybody ready, but we are excited. That will wrap it up, though, for the interview. So, again, thank you so much. Just a couple of minutes. Wanted to get the state of the program here and effort up. We're going to step aside here on Let's Talk. When we come back, we're going to go inside, and we're going to talk to one of the athletic directors from around the LL League. It's going to be a good one. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We are back here on Let's Talk, and we are switching gears a little bit, going off the playing surfaces, and we're heading into the war room of an athletic director, which for a lot of us, we really don't know what they do for our local high school. So we are going to find out here. Ryan Landis of Warwick High School is joining us. Thank you very much for coming in here. It's been something that I've really wanted to kind of figure out and see what exactly you do, how difficult your job can be at times, and kind of explain to everybody what you do and why it's important. So we'll start with letting everybody know kind of how long you've been doing this job here at Warwick. It hasn't been terribly long, if I remember.
So December will start my 5th year in this role as the athletic director.
What made you want to get into that, and what made you think that, you know, this was something that maybe I could handle?
It wasn't something I really was necessarily looking to do. I was teaching elementary school for 14 years. And the position opened mid-year, and having been a graduate here, I thought it would be interesting to at least throw my name in that, not knowing really what the job entailed, and I'm still not sure I fully know what this job entails because it's so different every day.
Right, and that is kind of what we say to people about our job. We really enjoy that because we get to cover different things every day. It keeps us on our toes. Obviously, you are kept on your toes for several different reasons. What is it, though, about the job that really kind of makes you happy, really fulfills you, and keeps you going here these 5 years strong?
There's a lot of pieces to this. There's the administrative side, there's the budget, the schedules, the interviews. There's a lot of those pieces to it. The part that I enjoy the most is actually going to the sporting events. Some people, I think, mistakenly think that's all the athletic directors do is go to sporting events, where that's probably one of the smallest portions of our job.
Percentage-wise, what do you think?
I make it a big percentage of mine. I put a lot on my secretary to do a lot of the paperwork and a lot of the different things, because it allows me to go out and be seen and support the kids, but which happens to be my favorite part of the job. So I make it a point to get out of the office. I'm not a big fan of sitting in an office, which is ironic that you have me here and not on a field right now.
Sorry about that. Well,
it's all right.
It is like approaching winter and 40-degree temperatures. If it was 70, we'd be outside right now. But a lot of people, again, assume that pretty much all you do is, schedule the teams and you're out at the games, which, again, you're very busy with. You can be very busy. Sure. I've seen the different athletic directors. They're always at games, and I know you like to get around and tweet out and all that stuff, which is great. What is the time commitment, because everybody talks about having a 9-to-5 job. You don't have a 9-to-5 job. Explain to people, what time do you think you get in? What time do you typically get done?
It's been an adjustment for me. I'm very fortunate. My administration that I work under are fantastic, and they've actually pushed me to find some time for myself. And I've had to learn, having been an elementary teacher and working certain hours, that I got to work the job, not set hours. So I'm still trying to get better at that, but understanding the other week, I think I had 3 straight nights that I was out till 11 o'clock at night. And on 2 of those, I had meetings at 7 o'clock in the morning. And so if you're not careful, you can put in 7 to 11 days, and it's a lot. Yeah. But there's flexibility within that. So the short answer is there is no set hours.
Right.
I just kind of have to make it work. There's a lot more during the school day for an athletic director than people realize. Okay. Meetings fill up the day pretty well. Just trying to stay on top of all the emails that come in. I have a piece of anything involved with facility rentals, so they all come to me as well to look at. So there's a lot of pieces to it.
Yeah, no, we realize that as we see you everywhere and we kind of talk with the different athletic directors. But again, this is for people that don't really understand just what goes into the job. People think of it as a glorified, basically, you just attend sporting events.
Right.
And again, that can be stressful on families too. If you have younger kids and a wife, you know, and you're out till 10 o'clock at night every night, you don't get to see your family as much. So we were just enjoying the fall season. And you're all over the place, even still with a lot of the Warwick teams not in the postseason. You're still out there. I saw you at a field hockey game. It was raining and it was 40 degrees, and you know that's not the funnest thing to be. But you're there because you're in charge of the facility, right?
Yeah, we host an awful lot of events, partly because of our location is pretty central to a lot of different counties.
Well, and you have a great facility as well with the turf field and the stands and all that. So, as far as the fall, tell us just real briefly. Is that the busiest season for you? What is because I know there's a lot of sports going on. So as far as number of sports and athletes and coaches that you have to kind of oversee, what is the busiest season for you?
I'd say the fall's the toughest. The thing with the fall is not only do you have, we have 9 sports in the fall where we only have 5 in the winter. We also, for a lot of the sports in the fall, we have a junior high program as well. So when you look at the winter, we have basketball and wrestling each having junior high, but bowling and swimming, the other 2 sports, we don't have a junior high program. And in the spring, the only junior high sport we have that is school sponsored is track. So that adds a piece to the fall.
So you get to see a lot of different athletes too. I know we do the senior banquet with you every year, so obviously that's the culmination of these athletes' career when they're seniors, but you get to see all these different sports, all these different seasons from probably about like freshman year on to senior year. How is that for you? Do you get to develop any nice relationships, or is it more of a thing where you get to watch kids grow up? How's that work?
My favorite part of this job is by far is going to especially postseason events and following the kids and the teams that advance in the postseason. I will say I joke with people that the Twitter account is almost an addiction because I'm the only one that runs the Warwick Athletic one, and it's kind of taken on a life of its own, but it's fun for me, and it's been a great resource to keep alumni involved in our programs, and quite a few of them follow us and know how we're doing things.
Another thing that I think maybe people might want to know about is this schedule. You are like the master of the schedule for all the athletic teams every season, right? You get a break in the summer, obviously. How difficult of a job is that? What's that like, especially, you know, on one of those days where you'd maybe get like a snow day? You know, how crazy does that make your job?
Well, the scheduling is an interesting piece. Like right now, just this week, I was working on some contest to schedule for 2020.
Were you really?
We worked sometimes 2-3 years out, and that. It's like there's never a break in that regard. The weather, I actually think the winter's easier weather-wise than the spring. And the winter, the snow, oftentimes if it's a snow event or it's a snowstorm, it goes above me and decisions are made that I don't even have to get involved. The biggest challenge I have with weather is the spring with the rain and baseball and softball, because you have to actually go out on the field if you don't have a turf baseball field, like some places. So you actually have to go out on the field, you meet with your grounds crew, and you know, because I got to try to balance. It's easy for me to sit in office and say, yeah, we'll have it ready, but I got to make sure they can make it work too.
No favoritism, right? So is there a favorite sport that you get to cover?
Oh yeah, you're trying to get me in trouble. I will say my favorite
Mine's basketball.
Favorite sporting event. My favorite sport personally to watch is baseball. But my favorite sporting event to attend, as I said, I love the postseason, but I love the track meet at SHIP, the state track meet.
That's true.
I love actually in swimming the district meet. I go to Bucknell to the States, but the district meet at Cumberland Valley I think is a really cool event to get to.
We go every year, yep.
And as a basketball person, I always wanted to go to the Giant Center. That was always your dream.
Fun, yeah.
And so even as a basketball person, I think anytime I can get to Hershey to see our wrestlers is fun too. I do enjoy that.
We enjoy that as well, yes, districts and states.
So.
Well, thank you so much.
Bet.
I appreciate it. I've been wanting to kind of do this for a while. We were able to get it on the schedule, so I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sounds good.
All right. So there you have it. A great conversation with one of the best athletic directors in the LL League. Want to give a big thanks to all my guests who were on the show today, and a big shout out to everyone who appeared on Let's Talk this fall. It has been a great start to my new show here on BRC 11. Really wanted to see if we could shine a brighter spotlight on different coaches and athletes around the LL League. I think we accomplished that, and hopefully we will keep it going here. But for now, that will do it for our show in the fall season. We're taking a break until winter sports picks back up in December. Thanks so much for tuning in to Let's Talk. I'm Chad Landers, and I'm sure we'll have more to talk about next time. We'll see you in December.